Hello, eight-man coaches. This is Robert Babcock. I come from the great state of Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. And coincidentally, that's what it's doing at this very moment. I manage two football websites that specialize in dynamic coaching schemes, www.8manfootball.net and www.bigintofootball.com. I've got a great deal of experience in both 8-man and 11-man football. We started running some of the concepts in the Renegade Offense back in 1992, and they've just developed from there. Our standing joke is that we ran the jet sweep before the jet sweep was called the jet sweep. So your question may be, what is the Renegade Offense? And that's a legitimate question. Basically, the Renegade Offense is a series of formations and plays developed originally for quick teams with undersized linemen. It's one of the first spread systems that focuses as much on the running game as it does the passing game, although the passing game is still a major part of this offense. Advantages to running the Renegade? Well, first of all, it puts your skilled kids in a position to make plays. Secondly, it gives your linemen, especially those smaller type linemen, a fighting chance at the line of scrimmage. It includes a terminology that seamlessly applies to most formations. It can be used as a base offense or to supplement what you already do. It's not complicated to run in any way, shape, or form. And most importantly, it's fun, not just for the coach, but also for the kids. Here are the formations that coincide with the Renegade. The Renegade's more than just a group of formations. The plays that accompany the scheme can be utilized from these sets, for the most part seamlessly, with little or no change in terminology. This is the original Renegade formation. We designate a letter for each player. The left end is the L, the right end is the R. One of the slots is the T, the other slot is the F, which originally stood for tailback and fullback, and we can still go back to those anytime we want to go to a conventional set. It doesn't matter where they line up, they keep their letter, as I'll show you in some different diagrams. The linemen are also assigned letters, and this can be handy with pulling or with guard-eligible routes. The P guard is on the left, and that stands for power guard. The S guard is on the right, which stands for speed guard. The center is designated with an H for hiker. This is because we use the C from time to time with different formations or personnel groupings. You can see from this diagram the alignments for the skilled players. The L, if he's the split, will be about 4 yards from the sideline. Of course, this can vary as to which side the ball is spotted on. The T is in a mid, or what we call a mid alignment, which basically splits the split and the guard on his side. The quarterback is about 4 yards from the center's rear. The F back is, if possible, about 1 yard outside the defensive end. As a note, if the defensive end refuses to allow this, we simply line up wider and we'll run underneath him. The R is in what we call a nasty split. In general, that is 6 to 7 yards from the guard. This can vary a little bit as to what your needs are per specific play. The guard splits are usually about 2.5 feet from the H or the center. This formation is the wide formation, which we also used to call the Renegade wide. That's because everybody's in the same alignment except for one, and that is the end. Now both ends are roughly 4 yards from the sideline. There are some advantages to running the wide formation. It spreads out the defense even more, which allows you to run some zoom type plays, some rollout passes. It also pulls the safety away from the split, which opens up some individual routes. The bunch formation is just an absolute killer set. I considered doing an entire video on the bunch set alone, but the scheme really complements the Renegade offense. Here we put both the F and the T on one side on the same slot. We usually designate the F to be the inside slot and the T to be the outside slot. We do this because the same blocking rules can now be applied to both sides. This set is great for power sweeps with crackback blocks, counters, reverses, and play action. Here we have 4 wide, which we also call double mid or D mid. Here both slots are in mid alignments and both ends are 4 yards from the sideline or in the wide alignment. This formation is great for seam routes, all hitches, all goes, smash type combination routes, as well as quarterback draws. The Super Trips formation is a 3x1 set. This formation is great for rollout passes with delays by the F-back on the defensive end. A lot of 11-man 3x routes also work very effectively from the Super Trips. This formation is also very effective at isolating a good receiver one-on-one on the single or wide side, while still utilizing 4 blockers. The Nomad employs the Renegade slot and a tight end. This formation frustrates defenses because it allows the offense to motion into a more desirable position to run the ball inside, especially on the short side of the field. At the same time, the jet, all of its counters, and play action are also very effective. Nomad is great for jets, crack options, hex routes, as well as quarterback counter traps and delays. The up is our conventional formation of choice when mixing with Renegade concepts. This is a very versatile formation that has great power and option characteristics as well as play action. By forcing teams to prepare for spread formations as well as conventional sets, you take away their plans for personnel groupings as well as blitz threats. Another major advantage is that you force your opponent to burn valuable practice time. This decreases the opportunity for them to drop new offensive wrinkles on you for specific games. When we call our plays and there is no direction assigned to the formation will be lined up to the right automatically. If we want a formation lined up to the left, we put an LFT or simply an LT after the formation abbreviation on the wristband. This cuts down on wristband space considerably. If we want to call Super Trips, it would just be an S/T. It would be lined up to the right. If we want to line up Super Trips left, it would be S/T LFT. Our motion is simple. Motion will always be towards the main body of the offense. That is, unless we designate it by saying motion away, and then the motion will be away from where the center is snapping the ball. If no letter is designated for the motion, it'll be T-motion. The T-back will go in motion. This cuts down considerably on wristband space as well. The motion back will always either fake a handoff with the quarterback or take a handoff with the quarterback unless we have a motion through call, in which case he'll motion through. Also, we could call Fox, which would be on 2, and usually we're trying to get the other team to jump when we run a Fox play. On the timing of the snap, we try to snap the ball when the motion man reaches the position where the tight end would be if there was a tight end. Once again, if we don't designate a player for motion, the T will be the motion man. Anyone else we will call, for instance, F motion would motion the F back. Motion is always to the formation unless we say motion away. Then it would be away from the center. Fox simply means we're going to go on 2 and try to get the other team to jump. We usually do this about 2 to 3 times a game. One thing about using Fox is you're going to have a play that uses motion through, because you don't want to waste a play if the other team doesn't jump. When we call a flip, we simply flip our R and L with the T and F to either side. We can do this by alignment, or we can do this as a shift after we've already lined up. This is an example of flip motion. Here we flip the L and the T. That is, the L backs off the line of scrimmage and the T steps on the line of scrimmage. Then we use the L for motion. This utilizes more players in the offense, and it can rest the regular motion backs. You can also use the motion man, the R or the L, as blocking backs, or for blocking purposes with the flip. When it comes to terminology, there are literally thousands of ways to call plays. Some are better than others, and some fit certain offensive schemes better than others. The bottom line here is, if you can get your kids to do what you want them to, when you need them to do it, that's all that really matters. We developed our terminology so that we could apply it to all of our formations. Running plays are in general numbered. Passing plays are names. We don't use the passing tree, although it could be incorporated without too many issues. We use tags at the end of our play calls, which allow us to vary the original play. This shows a typical breakdown of one of our play calls. On the wristband, it would appear as up 16 give. Up is the formation. Because there is no left at the end of the up, the formation would be set up to the right. Remember, right is always the default. 16 is a series number, which means option. It'll go to the right since 16 is an even. Give is the tag. The tag tells us what type of option play it's going to be. In this case, it'll be a give or a dive. If give was changed to lead, it would change the option play into a lead option or a load type option. This is a series chart. Basically, I'm just showing you the plays that we use, the basic plays that we use for the Renegade offense. 48 and 49 are sweeps. If you put monster crack with it, those are tags which tell us that we're going to do a double crackback block on the sweep. That applies to conventional sweeps or the jet. 131Q, 132Q, those are quarterback traps. They have the same blocking as 131 or 132, which those are basic traps. The 200 series designates play action. So if it's a 222, the 22 is the type of play we're going to fake, which would probably be a lead. TRZ, FLZ, that's when we run the zoom option with the motion man, whether it be the T-back or the F-back. 16 and 17s are options. Monster crack would just once again tell you what type of blocking. That would be a double crackback block on the option. 216, 217 max, those are play action option type passes. 48 and 49 reverse, this applies to the jet mostly. That is, after the handoff on the jet sweep, we would also hand off to a slot back coming back. 58 and 59 is the quarterback sweep. Monster crack applies the monster crack blocking to those sweeps. 78 and 79 RZ and LZ, well, 78 and 79s are rollout passes. 73s and 75s are drop back passes, which sometimes we can do away with those because we name our passing routes, and from the shotgun, the drop backs won't be the same anyway. 58 and 59 once again is a quarterback sweep. Monster blast would add the blocking to it. And then of course the 223s, 222s, those are play action passes as well.